guys, this is Nadya Andreeva from spinachandyoga.com, and this is Happy Belly interview series where I'm interviewing various health and wellness experts, digestive experts, chefs, and people that I really admire about everything that has to do with a happy belly. We learn what makes their belly happy, what makes it unhappy, their journey to their happy belly, and all the tips that might be useful for you on your journey. And today I have a friend, Jovanka Ciares, and she's a wellness expert, nutrition coach, and an amazing inspiration of really vibrant, happy energy in anyone's life who is looking to transition to a healthier lifestyle. She's also a producer and has an amazing show on YouTube about everything healthy, from cooking to hypnosis to basically how to revamp your kitchen. And today we're going to learn what makes Jovanka's belly happy and some tips that you can use to start transforming your belly into a happier one. Thank you, Jovanka, for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So let's get right to it. What is a happy belly for you? How do you know if you have a happy belly?
A happy belly to me is a belly that I can't remember, and I'll explain that because it's a little controversial.
I know what you mean, but yeah, let's explain.
Well, yeah, a belly that I don't feel. I spent the first 20 years of my life feeling my belly, and not in a good way. So I was either always hungry and always feeling like there was hunger pangs and a need for something, for either nutrients or for something that will calm the fire in my belly, or I was overly full and feeling extremely bloated and in pain. And I happened to have a condition when I was a kid where my belly will fill up with gas. And then as soon as I would put food in it, I would, the gas will get trapped and it will become almost impossible for it to move around. And it will cause a lot of pain and discomfort. So to me, a happy belly is one that feels just right. Ones that feel satisfied and with foods that keep me feeling light for hours on end. And it took me a little while, but eventually I learned that my body became wise enough to understand that even if my belly is empty, it can still feel great. It doesn't have to feel discomfort, doesn't have to feel these hunger pangs. So it took a lot of work, but it's now just an amazing little machine that I try to tune in as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, and I think it's a great definition of a healthy digestion, the one that works on its own without you having to pay too much attention to it.
Yeah, definitely. The idea is that, what I put in my body makes me feel nice and light, but it also satisfies me. Like, I want to feel like I'm enjoying this process. I want to taste the food. I want to feel how it's doing good to me. But then once it gets there, I don't want to have to think about it. I know that it's doing what it's supposed to do, and I'm totally happy. If I feel it, chances are it's not going to be very happy.
Yeah. One of the things that really jumped out at me when you said it is that I want to really enjoy it. I want to taste the food. And I think that's what a lot of people are skipping on. So they logically or in their mind, they think that they want to enjoy a particular thing, or they're really looking forward to it. But once it's in front of them, they kind of eat it without being really fully present of it, without really openly receiving it. Like, right now, I'm receiving this amazing meal. How did you teach yourself to shift into that point of receiving and welcoming the taste of food?
It took a minute. It wasn't an easy process. And by a minute, I mean it took a while.
That would be good.
No, it was a working process. I mean, it was a process. And I think the first thing that I did was give myself permission to understand that this will take a moment and it will be more than just a meal or two. That I did not get here overnight. So I can't pretend to get out of here overnight. And in my case, I was, I had a little bit of a smackdown with a health condition, and I decided to go all out. So I was almost like quitting cold turkey, which I don't necessarily recommend people to do, but it was what worked for me. So I eliminated everything from my diet, and by everything I mean everything. There was a point where all I was doing was drinking some vegetable juices and maybe having some taro for dinner. And so I became a baby and started to reintroduce foods into my diet little by little, just like you would a baby. You try for a few days, maybe even up to a week, and see and start understanding what that food does to your system, and the beauty of the scent of that food and the taste of that food, which we, as you said, we have forgotten somehow. So it was an amazing experiment, and I loved every minute of it. It wasn't as hard as it sounds. It was more about self-understanding and self-respect. And while I was doing that, I was certainly working on a lot of personal development stuff, and it became just a beautiful thing. And amazingly, my taste buds started to change, and so I became more aware of tastes that were there before, but I just didn't know. I was like most people, eating a very high diet that's very high in sugars, and or fatty stuff. I used to love fried food, God knows. And so my taste buds were almost desensitized to that. So it took a minute for them to reset themselves. And once they reset, I discovered a world of flavors and taste and temperatures and just amazing stuff. Not just foods, but spices and herbs and supplements. It was an amazing experiment.
Yeah, and it sounds like it. It sounds like it was an interesting curiosity experience of like kind of approaching everything as a baby. I love that synonym. And one of the things about taste buds, I do agree that a lot of us lose the sensitivity because the stronger the taste, your taste buds adapt. So the next thing that you taste, the taste buds are again looking for that intense flavor. But in a few days, and it literally takes just a few days, your taste buds start tasting things again like it's something so new. So even if you have a fruit, it just seems so intensely sweet. I had today butternut squash soup for lunch, and it seemed so sweet, like dessert.
Yeah, it was.
So it's really giving your body that opportunity to recalibrate.
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what it is.
So let's talk a little bit about foods that make your belly happy now. So if you like under stress, for example, or you know that you have just really too much going on, what foods can you rely on that won't upset your stomach? Like 100%, those are safe.
Right. So for me, what works, it all depends on the time of the year. My body naturally craves warming foods that are warming to the body, the type that is always a little on the cold side, and so I need stuff that feels grounding and that also warms the body. So I'm a little bit of a liquid junkie, or liquid food junkie. So in the summertime and spring, I tend to have a lot of vegetable juices and smoothies. And, I'm a Caribbean girl. I come from the Caribbean. So the foods that made me happy were tropical fruits. And I don't consume them in the wintertime and in the fall. But in the summertime and springtime, they just bring just joy into my heart. And so
to your belly too.
And my belly, of course, because at the end of the day, your belly is kind of like your second brain. Yeah. So that's where your emotions kind of start, right? And so, I feel like coming home when I need to feel my belly happy. So in the spring and summer, it's something like, fruits, like pineapple, like mango is one of my favorites. And people tend to be a little scared of fruit because they have too much fructose or, too high in this and that. I love them. I think that, it's unfortunate that we have gotten to a point where we're so afraid of sugar, but there's sugars and sugars. And the beauty of nature, of Mother Nature, is that when it puts something that may not be that great for you, it combines it with something that is amazing for you. So it'll put a little bit of fructose into something, but it puts all these enzymes and phytochemicals and fiber that will help you properly digest that food in the right amount and the right combinations. And then in the fall and winter, I do a lot of soups. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I'm a liquid meal junkie. I'm with you. I live on soups. So soups of almost anything. I liquefy almost anything. It could be anything from leafy greens to root vegetables, and I do have a lot of root vegetable type soups in the fall and winter. So it could be anything. And in the Caribbean, we use a lot taro and yuca and batata and stuff that you may not be too familiar in the Western world, but in the Caribbean and South America, they're just ubiquitous. And so, yeah, I make, and those just, that when you liquefy the food, you're kind of like, in essence, pre-digesting them. Yeah. And I put a lot of healthy oils. I love grapeseed oil. I love, at the end of, even if not for cooking, maybe after, when you serve your soup, you can sprinkle a little bit of olive oil or coconut oil. And it's a very warming, happy belly, type food for me.
Yeah, I love that. I think soups is one of the best things that somebody can do, especially when their digestion is sensitive.
Yeah.
What are some foods that your stomach definitely doesn't like?
My stomach doesn't like beans, unfortunately, which happens to a lot of people. I grew up in Puerto Rico, and so I ate rice and beans almost every day of my life, about twice a day. And these were some of the beans that are the hardest to digest. So we're talking about red kidney beans, about garbanzo beans. Those are the stuff that my grandmother used to make for us, and they were, oh my God, so delicious. But they were not really good for me. They did not do good for me. So now what I do is I compensate by eating other types of beans in soup form. So I do a lot of lentil soups. I do a lot of split pea type soups, or combine some of these beans into other dishes, because I still love them and I see their benefit, but I don't consume them nearly as much because they don't do good by me.
Okay. So I think what a lot of people, I'm just kind of reading into the minds of the listeners,
Yeah.
A lot of people will say, well, what is then your choice for proteins? Because I think a lot of people, when they either think paleo, which is all like kind of animal protein, or they think all vegan, and then beans become one of their main sources of protein. What are your favorites?
Well, I love to, like I said, because I love my liquid meals. It depends on what I'm consuming throughout the day, and I realize that I may have a little bit of a protein deficiency. I may put a little bit of protein powder, which may be just pea protein. It could be rice protein. I also, what most people don't realize is that most vegetables have some protein in it. So you have to remember that your body doesn't use protein. It uses the amino acids that you break down from protein. So whether and we have the ability to produce some of them with the foods that we consume, and some of them are considered essential because we can't produce them, we have to consume them, we have to find them from other sources. And so most people think of protein like it needs to have all of these 9 essential amino acids, otherwise it's not protein, oh my God. While in fact, there's so many vegetables out there, so many leafy greens, even fruits or seeds out there, like quinoa, like chia seeds that have, quinoa is I believe has all 9 essential amino acids. It's considered a complete protein. Hemp, sea vegetables, all of this stuff has most of the amino acids that your body needs. So consuming a variety of them throughout your day will almost guarantee that you will have all the protein that you need. In this day and age, I don't have a lot of animal flesh in my diet. And I have no problem consuming the protein that my body needs. Mm-hmm. I just make sure that my diet has variety, and when I don't, then I'll supplement a little bit with some protein powders, vegan supplement protein powders.
That sounds really good, because I think a lot of people have that fear of not getting enough protein and then having weak and tired if you don't get it. But in reality, what happens if you start, at least for a lot of people, if you start reducing extra heavy sources of protein, you actually feel much lighter and more energetic.
God knows much. And it's so funny because I have clients. I mean, this is a very normal question. People ask these questions all the time. Just yesterday, I was talking to a young lady who told me that she was a little concerned. She came to me because she wanted to gain weight. Mm-hmm. She saw an article that I wrote a few weeks ago, and she just wanted to talk to me about it. And she said that she became a vegan for about a month, and she loved it, but she lost a lot of weight. Mm-hmm. And she assumed that it was because she wasn't having enough protein. And so we had to, I had to go through the entire process of explaining to her, yeah, that there may be other reasons. It could be because you're not having enough protein in your diet, but let's look at the whole big picture. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because there's a lot of people out there that feel like protein equals nutrition. So if I have a lot of protein in my diet, I have great nutrition. I'm a healthy person. I'm eating healthy. When in fact, protein is only one of the nutrients that your body needs. It's one of the top macronutrients, but you still need, 2 or 3 other macronutrients and about, 50 micronutrients, including minerals and vitamins and phytochemicals and stuff like that. And we're too concerned about this whole protein love affair, but no one is talking about, what about all the other nutrients that you may be deficient on that you don't even think about because you think all you're having is protein and that's all you need.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. So it's, guys, if you're listening to it, just give it an experiment and try having other sources of protein besides animal protein a couple times a day. So one thing that you would tell people when they're just starting their journey on alleviating bloating, getting regular, what has been really, really effective with your clients and with your body? With both my clients and most of my clients are women. I do have a handful of men, and it's funny because men and women tend to react a little differently to some of the stuff that I recommend, and it's for obvious reasons, right? We have different systems. Our body, man's bodies, especially the digestive tract, is so strong that it's almost like we're all as women should be jealous of a man's digestive tract. It's a marvelous thing. I love my herbs and spices, and I tell people all the time to try to make it simple when it comes to their happy belly journey. So I start by asking people to incorporate some herbs as tea form, or it could be in their regular meals that they prepare at home. But I love my teas. I love things like fennel, which was something that I discovered, about 8 or 9 years ago. And once I discovered that, I just couldn't believe that it was my life before and after fennel. It's literally that serious. And I have my fennel tea every day. Like, I do not live without it. But there's a lot of other stuff out there, and stuff that you can find fairly easy and regularly. I'm talking about, ginger. I'm talking about cinnamon. I'm talking about chamomile.
all these herbs that are just great digestive herbs, rose teas, and it could be, you can buy them in your health food store in like already made form, or you can simply do what I do. You know, like this, the herbs that I have that I used to cook are the same herbs that I put in my water and end up drinking as a tea. And people think I'm a little strange when I pour a bunch of turmeric into the cup and then put some hot water in it. It's like, to me, it doesn't really taste that much anymore, but I love it. What it does to my body is so amazing that I'm just going to continue to do it. So, yeah, so my herbs is stuff that I do all the time. Like I said, my constitution craves warming herbs. So I always have ginger, just an amazing anti-inflammatory herb that also is a great digestive aid. Cinnamon, cayenne, turmeric. All of those are in my cupboard on a regular basis. But it could be things that may be, a little bit cooling, like chamomile. It could be rose. It could be, I think you, Nadya, taught me about this Ayurvedic combination of herbs.
Yeah.
Which I think is fennel, cumin, and cardamom. Coriander. And I recommend those to my clients. I use them all the time. Even my father, who is the worst drinker on the planet, drinks that tea every day, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think herbs are extremely powerful, and it's worth including them in the diet. It's better than most digestive supplements because it goes directly and you taste it. So I think it's a great way to start the Happy Belly journey.
Yeah.
So Jovanka, if people want to find you and learn more about your work, find out about your YouTube presence, where can they find you?
So you can find me on my website. I have a blog that I send out via video with tips on how to live a healthy, happy, strong life. It's at jovankaciares.com. So JOVANKACIARES.com.
And it's going to be right below the video.
Oh, okay, thank you. And certainly you can check me out on YouTube. I have all of my videos there, and subscribe and get beautiful goodness every week.
Good. Thank you, Jovanka, so much. So guys, make sure to get your copy of the Happy Belly. We have lots of gifts. All the gifts, all the information is going to be right below the video. And make sure to subscribe so you can watch all other Happy Belly interviews. Thank you.
Bye.